Okay.
Let's do our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And maybe we should close that door.
Yeah, I'll close that.
There's a captain here, he knows how to do that.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna
Probably did all his mic adjustments based on that
probably.
white noise.
Okay, so it's 5:02, we're starting our strategic planning session. And I don't think we have to be formal about this at all, so.
Yeah.
Do either of you two have items you want to talk about today in this hour?
Short-term and long-term goals.
Okay,
And that could be a future thing that we just, something that we should think about.
okay, and anything else?
I think, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna do strategic planning, I don't know, more like purchasing the rest of that 2.5 acres that we originally had bought. A total, it's like
Would
just
that
shy
kind of go under
4.
the extended operating plan or something like that?
Yeah,
I mean, it could fall under short-term and long-term goals.
That too?
But it's just more something to talk about.
Okay,
You know, we're not making any decisions.
Sure.
No, I agree, and I think parlayed in all of that is that, you know, I would pose that we should, we're clearly under budget pressure,
Yeah,
immediate budget pressure.
huge difference in cost from then
And
to
I
now.
think, I don't want to say this the wrong way, we shouldn't discuss that because we're under budget pressure, but I think we're 18 to 24 months out from budget stability.
yeah,
And that may be overly cautious,
probably, you're right, yeah.
but I think as we, you know, still deal with that uncertainty of things that are in here every time we sit down, you know, of unexpected expenses and you know, who knows what the
Right.
future of some of these, you know, public records things are. Now, that's not to put a damper on that, that's not what I mean, but like,
Yeah.
you know, as we move
No.
forward with those, I don't want to get everybody all liquored up on, you know,
And
we're
I
going to
think
do all this
that's-
stuff when we got EMTs to train,
Right.
and that's our compulsory function, you know.
And that's kind of what maybe extended operating
Does that make
plan
sense,
wasn't
Yeah.
the correct title, but the same idea, 1 year, 3 year, and a
Yeah,
5-year
exactly,
plan
exactly.
kind of thing. And I don't know if that's an operating plan or something
that's-
else. And I think that and the short and long-term goals is probably pretty similar.
I think,
So we can talk about that. And then, did you have anything else?
No, ma'am.
Steve?
No.
Okay. All right. For the benefit of the audience, my agenda items included, I just gave a little worksheet so we can start thinking about the alternate meeting date that we're going to talk about in the next meeting. I want to talk about a gas stipend for volunteers, informal policy on paying debt collectors. Mike and I kind of talked about that, and I just wanted to bring you guys on board with that. And then a personnel complaint, that should have said policy, to start talking about that.
So on the, where do you want to start first?
Well, and then there's one more, team building exercises.
Okay.
With us as the commissioners involved with the volunteers on something that we can all work together towards, like cleaning the hall or a special project in the hall or something like that.
Okay.
Just so we get to know them better, they get to know us, and
Yeah.
plus the hall needs cleaning, so might as well take 2 birds with 1 stone. So do you want to just start with the short issues?
Sure.
I gave you a sheet on the alternative meeting date, showing the options of what day would provide the most conflicts as in regards to holidays.
Okay.
And so if we went to the second and fourth Monday, there would be one conflict, and that would be May 26th, Memorial Day. If we went to second and fourth Tuesday, there's 3 conflicts: Christmas Day in this year and next year, and Veterans Day this year. And then if we went to Thursdays, it would be Thanksgiving Day both next year, this year and next year, and also Christmas next year. Not that that really matters, because we have the ability to move on those dates,
Yeah.
to move it to a different day, but I just wanted you to kind of know what that
Sure,
was.
sure.
And then also, if we have it on Thursday, we could still have Diedrich. If we have it on Monday or Tuesday, we would have to Zoom the meetings, and then there are, I believe, 2 ways that we could post the Zoom meeting on YouTube.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's another avenue than that, Diedrich, but, you know, there is. So he could chime in. And
What days of the week is Diedrich even available?
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday?
He's some Thursdays and some
Okay.
Fridays. So,
And I am not available some Thursdays, 2 Thursdays of the month.
and me too. I have one Thursday of the month that's a conflict.
Well, and Tuesday, we kind of changed drill to that day.
We have changed it,
Yeah,
but we can change drill
yeah, it can be
to the
changed.
off Tuesdays or whatever. We can move drill around.
Yeah,
So there's Monday and Tuesday then to think about, and,
And so, on that, Diedrich, how do we go about getting it aired?
Well, you can bring directly from your representative to either YouTube or Facebook. You have a Facebook account, it'd be easier just to set it up to Facebook. And then you can take care of that part. The OPMA, and I'm not an expert, but it says they encourage you to have a remote view.
Yes.
You don't have to.
Sure.
And Nick would know that the 16, they don't have YouTube.
no, but they use Zoom. Yeah,
so personally, I think there has to be some, at least for the short term, some way for the public to view our meetings.
yeah.
So,
I think
on a
the board is
recorded basis, probably.
in consensus that it's important for that to happen, in whatever technological fashion. We got to figure out to do that.
Must be law enforcement.
So,
And as far as schedule goes, I think I am the most flexible here. I'm available midnight, Monday through Sunday, 2
The
a.m.
retired life.
I used to be available.
Yeah, whatever works best for the board. But I think Nick had proposed, when we tabled to discuss the various options, Monday was his
Okay,
most available
Yeah,
time.
that works for me too, so we can make that decision in the next meeting.
Okay.
And that's the
I think
facts.
the only other thing on schedule is I noticed that the next strategic planning meeting was scheduled for the 23rd, but I think that is
We'll
the state commissioners conference, just for the
Yeah, whatever we
short-term
decide tonight, we'll adjust that
okay.
next meeting date, so. Okay, so that one's done.
Mondays.
Gas stipend for volunteers, I gave you guys 2 handouts on that. And I think we really need to start giving our volunteers some help in that. They're
Yeah.
spending a lot of money on gas, and we're not paying them per se for calls, but I think giving a gas stipend for calls would be appropriate. And just a little note of information, and I'll read these options to you guys out loud, but also I want you to keep in the back of your mind that Val and I did find an extra $800 that we are trying to obtain. It was in the state, what's that called? It's the unclaimed
Oh,
funds.
nice,
Oh, okay.
nice.
So we're in the process of getting that, and that would actually cover one of these for our budget, so,
Cover one month.
what, no, that would cover a whole
I
year.
think another thing to look at, maybe look at the schools. Apparently, they've submitted or have mailed the
Yes,
previous board or chief, like stipends for the whole year for football. And I don't believe those have been cashed, so I don't know if those are considered unclaimed, or maybe it's something to get with the school and see if there's money to recover there as well.
is that something you guys have been working on
Yeah,
already?
and
Okay.
it was the school that told us that there was money in unclaimed funds.
Oh, okay, so maybe
Okay,
that's
You're
so
part
right.
of
that's
it.
probably,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the school.
and Mike's right, I was thinking that's a yearly number, that is only a monthly number, the 850, so. So let me just read it out loud, because we have folks here listening. The options by my calculations, and they could be wrong, but we calculated an average of 226 calls per year, and that's based on 22 and 23. And so, and Mike told me that we have a, in between two,
That's what it comes out per month. These are.
we're
We're not doing 85 responses per month. We're doing 19.6 at this point. So it'd
Okay,
actually come
my
out to
math is
$196
incorrect.
Per
So
month,
just-
which is very doable.
Round up to 20.
I think in the meeting, we just, we take care of it, and I'm gonna recommend the very first one.
Okay. Okay,
Probably
so,
need a policy on that.
We do not.
No, I
100
mean, we'll probably need one.
No, we do not.
No, we have one?
No. Well, we don't need it.
Oh, okay.
so,
That's just, a stipend is a stipend, and it's meant
I think we need a resolution. I don't think we
possibly,
need it.
Okay,
possibly a resolution, but definitely not a policy.
okay.
okay. I apologize, I don't know where my math went wrong. That's why I said it might be wrong. So that's awesome, if we can
So-
get them. And that's $10 per call.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes.
You got your math.
So $10 per call per volunteer. And I know that we're using 22 and 23 numbers. For budgeting purposes, Chief,
Yes.
I think we have a substantially higher number of volunteers today
Well-
than we did in 22 and 23.
Right, but what I was using was
Per call.
4.5 volunteers per call.
Gotcha, okay.
And because he said it's between 2 and 7 that
Yeah.
show up, so I
Okay.
just took the middle. And that equaled 1,017 responses, call responses per year.
Right.
Per man.
Man,
Man
or
response.
person
Right.
responses.
Right.
Man
Yep,
response hours.
Per person responses.
Yeah, and you get 1 point per.
yeah.
And then, let's see, what did I do? I divided that by 12 months.
That's why you got your
That's-
85 responses, that's like man hours. It's
Right.
man response,
Right.
not actual responses, but man responses.
In order
So
to
that's
keep-
why that's how you got that 850, which is the correct number.
The 850 per month?
Yes, that is a correct number, because what I did was just if one person did it.
Oh, the 196 is just for one.
So at
Okay.
the average, that would be
Okay, so I wasn't off. Okay.
85 responses,
Yeah.
85
Yeah.
people responding in a month's time.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
And that can
10,
go up
yeah,
and
that
down.
makes sense. That makes perfect sense, Chief.
Right.
okay.
And then I think going back to Commissioner Jones's question is that now that I kind of see that a little bit clearer, I think a policy would be required, because I think you would have to have some sort of, how do people claim that?
That is done through our ERS tracking,
Okay.
our ES.
Gotcha.
mode
So there's
tracking.
already a system in place.
We already have a
to
system,
Track it,
yes.
okay.
Can we track it through active 911? If people say available, unavailable, or, I guess you would have to show up though, because you could just say that you.
It's going to take whoever is the command of the scene,
Yeah,
coming back and filling out the incident sheet.
yeah,
And we found one of the old ones. We're gonna redo it
Okay,
and have everybody's name on it, just like we used to do. We tick it off,
okay,
and then we put it in the ESO.
okay.
And then it shows exactly we can pull up how many responses per month per individual.
That works. It's a good way to track it that way too.
Yep.
Okay,
Is that, is that gonna go on, like, you're gonna divide that up too if it's wildland, fires, like EMS?
We are gonna divide it between the expense and EMS.
Okay.
EMS
Well, no, I
calls,
wonder if it's gonna, like, just
EMS
as a-
calls are gonna
for
come out of
example,
EMS.
Back in 2023, I would have to prove that I was on a brush fire at some point in 2018, so that I didn't have to retake the wildland course, because you got the 5-year gap.
Right?
And so in order to search for that in the future, is that searchable through like that?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Because it does break down wildland, structure,
Okay.
mobile.
so we'll know what the call is based on how you enter it in ESO.
Right.
Okay.
okay. Then
I'll see if I can pull that up for you for our next meeting.
Okay.
So you guys can see it.
the debt collection issue is, and we may need Eric to just verify this, Mike, but I've been told that if we get a phone call from a debt collector, and we're talking about past debts that we're still hearing about, that generally the vendor has written that off by that time on their books, so they're usually not aware of how much it is or that it's in collection. And if we don't pay the debt collector, it then goes to court where we can negotiate down the cost. And I'm thinking that that might be a good policy to at least try to lower some of those bills that are still coming in.
Yeah.
So you're talking like a
So would there
policy
also be
to
a
kind of,
legal
how
cost?
to handle that?
Pardon?
A policy to handle that type of debt collectors or anything where,
I don't know that we need a policy. I mean, it just is a procedure that we use.
Procedure.
And before we do that, we probably want to just double check with Eric
I
to
would-
see what
yeah,
that would
I
I would think
involve.
so, because us putting in writing not to pay something,
Yeah, we don't want to put
We-
that
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
right?
because-
But-
even though it didn't happen on our watch, it is the district. It is the district's
Right.
responsibility. That's how
Right.
I see it that way, and I think we'd have to look at if we gotta go to court to get it to come down, then you're gonna have a court cost,
Right,
Cost-
right.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, so,
unless it were in, it's like small claims court or something like that. But
There
let's
may
let's
be
find
a-
out what the
You maybe
implications.
just to negotiate too with the debt collector themselves and get that taken care
I
of.
don't know if they do that or not.
Unfortunately, I have
They do.
some experience with that.
Okay, well
The
then that.
far past, yeah.
I guess mainly my point is let's try to negotiate these
Yeah.
down before we
Oh,
get
definitely.
stuck with the
And I think
bill.
it's certainly fair for, should the district be inquired upon about past due bills or bills that are in collection, to inquire as to whether the status of those bills, are they written off? I think you can ask all those kind of questions.
Yeah,
And that kind, and if they are, I mean, again, I don't want to put any liability on the district or unsavoriness, but by the same, I think we should pay our bills that are due. By the same token, if there's some inordinate or extraordinary kind of thing there, certainly negotiating on the behalf of the district is
yeah,
warranted.
yeah, okay. All right, let's move along then. Team building exercises. Mike, do you have any input on that issue? My thought was, like, once a week, and we could all kind of take turns with the different groups. And I would not expect this to apply to anybody that's in academy or training, because they already have a load. But the rest of us we could meet once a week to, whatever needs done in the hall, cleaning, or if maybe there's a painting project or some other kind of project, that just so we can kind of hang out together. What do you?
I don't know if once a week, we're already asking them to come to training weekly.
Right.
And that's in there, if we put the $10 into play, that's not just for calls, that's for training also, I would believe. Because it's the same thing, you're actually, they're required to come to training.
Okay.
So
Maybe,
to add another day to it, I think we need to look a little bit more into that myself. I'm thinking of some team building, like there is a thing coming up that Al Tupper has, I showed you the blueprints for it.
oh,
That would be a great team building,
Yeah.
that we do that together.
I would see that as a project,
And-
definitely.
But to me, a team building, I think we could, I think you can have an instructor come in and do a team building thing, that would really, really be good.
We could do
That's
that.
what I look at team building,
I know this is something we want to do in the future, but I would like to see, I think a good team building exercise would be like an extrication class out here. Someone that can teach all of us and the new people how to do extrication with their tools, where we all show up and we learn. You've got to be a team on to do
okay,
it.
so how's
to do
the
it.
commissioners gonna fit in as being in team building?
We could be,
They-
True.
we could be the
They are
person
not-
being
One could be there.
I
extricated.
think that they are not insured on the fire grounds like we are.
Yeah.
Because we are under the Board of Volunteer Firefighters,
Yeah.
they are not. So I think that's what I was saying, there's team building exercises that we can actually put on or get ideas from that aren't just labor intensive, they're actually a team building exercise. That's what I think of team building. It's
I guess I was just, and I agree with you on that, but I was also just thinking of some ways that we could intermingle with the crew, because we're all new to this.
September 11th, I think you guys would like to intermingle with it. October 11th. You guys can mingle with us. You'll hear
What's that?
more about that at the regular meeting. but
Oh, okay,
That'd be a good team building.
okay,
That'd be our first one.
all right. Well, that's just
It's
kind
in
of
the
been
works.
on my mind.
And I agree. It's great to have you commissioners, this might not be worded right, but come down to our level. Because you guys are over us. You guys are in charge of the district. So when the firefighters and EMS see that you are at their level, that you're willing to come and just be a regular person, that means a huge thing.
Well, I see us as part of the whole team.
You are.
So
You are
that
part
is
of the team.
what I want to do, so. Okay,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the big one now. Or no, I missed and I'm just gonna say that Mike gave me a draft of a personnel complaints policy, which I really think that we need, and it is a policy that can be used both by employees and by the public. And I think having a procedure spelled out for people, this is how it's going to be handled, this is the time frame, this is what you can expect, I think that might settle down a lot of things that, we've been hearing, and just, I think it's just good policy anyway. So I can take the draft that I've got with
And
a
I
few
will send it to the other
corrections, and
two.
I can give it to Mike for his, because he hasn't put his input in on it yet either. And-
No, I have not.
And then we can have that for the next
And I
meeting.
could, I could send it to the other two commissioners and let them chop on it.
I'd like to add to that too. I think we should have like a box, that people can either put complaints in or
Mhm.
suggestion box type thing, where it's anonymous,
Yep.
and they just put it in, and that, that
We
goes
have
to the
one.
chief.
It's just not labeled yet.
It's not labeled.
It used to be a mailbox right outside.
Yeah, it's full.
The problem I see with that, though, is if there is a complaint and we don't know who filed it, there's no way to investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I understand that, but some people may not want to expose or be named. And I think it could promote maybe some more active, I guess, complaints or suggestions. It do both,
I think if
I
it's
think
a
in my
complaint-
experience, if I could, Chief, I mean,
Yeah.
there's kind of two or three different facets of this whole complaints, beneficial suggestions kind of thing. And they range from, like I said, a Dropbox where you say, where somebody can just jot something down and say, hey, this would be a good idea, save us money, or improve policy or efficiency, and we all want to hear those kind of things. And then there's the kind of, gripe box, hey, I don't like this or that, or, I think we need to fix this or that or whatever, and those go to the chief. Then there's the
We need to
formal,
separate them
then there's
then.
formal, grievance type complaints. And so, like I said, I think we need to kind of bend that or scale that within that,
Yeah.
Context so that we meet the needs of all of those. And then with respect to the public, I think the public, and we're appointed, but by them, the authority vested in the county and so forth, but they all have our email address. There's no,
I think the
they're
policy-
unfiltered with respect to.
The policy, I think, is more geared to if somebody witnesses a
Yeah.
violation
Oh, yeah,
on the
sure.
job
Totally,
or
absolutely,
something
yep.
like
I
that.
think both.
Yep.
I agree with you. I think that we should do that, but I think also maybe look at adding maybe a box that someone can file a complaint.
And maybe
or
we could
suggestion
clarify
box or-
the purpose of the box is things that are easily
Yeah.
fixed versus complaint is a different.
And the policy that you have is more based for people within the department. That's why it's under the operational policies, it's not under the
Actually,
administrative
the
side.
way I read it, it's for the public too.
It can go either way, but most of the wording of it, and I think that there would be two policies because my expectations of the people that are in the department wouldn't be anonymous under any circumstances. If they feel that they have to go anonymous, then we have a working atmosphere that is not
Exactly.
Yeah.
good. So
Exactly.
the grievance procedure that's in there isn't set for being anonymous.
Right,
From what I've read, it is not.
that's correct.
So it's a grievance policy that explains how they do it, that there's no passing the chain of command, and that's the idea behind it.
Right, it spells that out
It
very
spells it
clearly.
out very clearly, where
That's why I said if it's
part of that, I
anonymous.
think we'd have to separate it if you want something for the public, because the public's not going to take it to their lieutenant, they're not going to take it to the,
No, towards the end, there's a section it mostly applies to them filling out the form and submitting it to you or to the office. It allows them to send it into the office so you can investigate it that way.
and I would like to, I would like to see two policies at that point. There would be an administrative policy that allows the public a way to do it and where to get the forms, whether it be on our website or whatever. And then there's the way that a firefighter or a medical person comes up through the system and addresses it correctly. There's definitely two different procedures.
Yeah.
Because the public can bring it right to me, where a firefighter has to go up the chain of command.
Right,
So, to put it all in one policy, I think there'd be a lot there that the public would not understand. And a very short one for the public, just to, if you have a grievance, this is how you go about doing it. The email you send it to, and this is the form you use.
okay.
And
What we can do is review it between now and the next meeting
Yeah.
and have that discussion further.
yes, and I'll try to have a form done up.
Yeah, that would be good too, so. Okay. So that'll be next time too. Okay, let's get to the big one. And the next item is it's a combination, I probably have the wrong title here, but I called it Extended Operation Plan. Nick called it Short-Term and Long-Term Goals,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think Mike had called it the 1, 3, and 5-year plan.
Yes.
So.
That's basically what
It's
a
actually a
short-term,
five-year
long-term-
plan, and then you have in there how you want to go about doing it.
So,
Yeah. And this is something
It's
we
kind of
do.
like how when we had done our long-term and short-term goals, we did it by years. So our long-term goals were within 5 years. Short-term goals were within the year. maybe 2 years, depending on.
So can you, either one of you, explain what types of items are in such a plan? Is it more about fleet,
Well, fleet could be
training,
long-term,
remodeling?
short-term.
It could be anything you want in there. It could be, I mean, you could make the team building as part of a short-term goal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's anything that we want to put into play. But it is where we start saving money, like in our last 5-year plan that we had when Nick and I were together, as he was my commissioner. Our 5-year plan was to have a 5-bay station out here that was deep enough for 2 vehicles each. And so we were that's how we ran. We told everybody about raising the taxes, you know, on the
levy lid lift.
levy lid lift on the expense side, on the fire side. So that was our long-term goal, was to save that money in that 5-year period.
Yeah, I think.
At today's cost, we couldn't probably save that money in 5 years no more. But that's just an example, and like a 2-year, you could put in there for a new engine, new pumper tender through the grant system. You know, there's no way we're going to afford it during that time, straight out, because the tax money, that would take every tax dollar we had. So, you know, it's just setting goals that we try to meet.
So how would you do that in that example? Like,
So we determine what we need.
right,
So what do we need for the future of this fire department?
so if it's part of your 2-year or 3-year plan, but we know we couldn't save that much by then,
We do it through, then,
Long-term goal.
or we try to do it within 2 years through a grant, through a FEMA grant. Because if we ask for a FEMA grant this fall, we probably would not see that engine until the beginning of '26 sometime, to be truthful.
are FEMA grants pretty readily handed out, or is it something we have to compete with a lot of people?
You have to compete, but with the situation we're in, I think we have a very good chance of it, and so do a lot of other people have that same opinion. And we do have somebody that's wanting to write us grants. A couple of people have offered to
I'll
help.
offer substantial assistance in
Right,
doing so.
and the XO could probably do that for our commissioner too, excuse me. He could
Been called
probably do it. Sorry. So I think what we need to do first is we need to come out with a list of what we think needs to get done.
And then prioritize.
And I think it's going to take 2 or 3 meetings. We don't have to do all this in one meeting. Then we think about it during time, how can we get it done? How soon can we get it? How soon do we want to try to get it done? And that's how we set our goals. When we did this before, we did this in an 8-hour day where it was the officers and the board, and we sat down and you know, we did lunch together, and it took us 8 hours to hammer the whole thing out. So trying to do it in 1 hour isn't feasible.
Sure, sure.
There's too much to it. I mean,
Yeah, I think it'd be-
we
oh,
did
sorry.
it, we did it in the 8 hours, and then, of course, approved it in future meetings, over
Right,
a couple
it-
meetings.
right, and then we produced that as a handout to the public. It was actually like a booklet, and we put in what it was for us. And I think that
we
gives the public the idea of where we're going. And if they want to put in their ideas of where they think we should go, then that's something that is thought about, you know? Because we belong to everybody. The public owns us.
Yeah, sure, I think that's
So-
absolutely right, Chief. I think this begins, Madam Chair, with a substantial brainstorming and prioritization session, you know, looking at the realities of our present, you know, financial state. And you've brought up many good ideas in past meetings regarding the addition of physician's assistants to various district elements and things like that may be collaborative to with other districts. So the exercise is simply to throw it on the wall, you know, with the support of the district, the chief, the staff, identify what priorities there are, and then, you know, to the public, this is what we think is a good outline of, expenditure of resources over the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years, or visions as resources become available, and they get the final chop, of course.
Right.
And then that doesn't just take in like apparatus or gear. It could also take in, a merger. This is something that would be talked about in
That's kind of
your
what I was
5-year
thinking.
plan, because we have to look at what's best for our taxpayers.
Exactly.
So is it keep going the way we are and finding a chief to replace me eventually, which is going to have to be a paid person? Or do we merge and part of that merger, you look at this station becomes a manned station as part of that merger,
Go to a 5-man board.
Go to a
Just- those are
5-person board,
options.
7-person board, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
But that's all part of this 5-year discussion, I
Okay.
do believe.
That clarifies for me kind of
Yes.
what we were talking, because
Yes.
I've been thinking about that. but-
Yes, it has everything to do with what direction do we look at going or need to look at going. We can get new apparatus, but
We have
you
a
know.
lot of them to get, though.
everything, yeah, everything is
Probably more than,
26 and 32 years old,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so funding is different. Like if you come an RFA, total different set of grants are open to you than they are to just us as a district. If you just do a merger to a bigger district, different set of funding is there because your tax base is different. So
Well, I was thinking,
there's a lot to look at of the future of Fire District 12.
right. And at first, I was under the impression that our levy is up, that we would have to do something about the levy next year, but I was wrong. I called the treasurer, or the assessor's office today, and it is not until, it's not up, and we have to do something in '26 for the '27 budget year, is what I was told. So we,
That's on the EMS levy.
right, the EMS levy.
And if I'm not mistaken, in order to do an EMS levy and qualify for it, we have to have our EMS trauma verification.
Yeah, and we'll
So-
have that by then.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking good right now.
We'll have it in
We're-
25.
We're looking pretty good on that. It's
Right.
going pretty quickly.
We're going to have it faster than people think that we could do.
Like most things.
Yep.
So that, so it sounds like this is gonna take like a full retreat day or something to go through all of this?
Well,
or
I think,
do we hammer it at?
I think that's a
multiple
starting
meetings?
point. But I do think that it's an open discussion like this, and we start writing down things that we think that we need. And
Well, right
then
off,
we go from there, and that becomes part of that retreat. Because then we need to look at the feasibility of, of our tax amount versus what we think is required is the goal that we set. Grants are definitely the way to go.
Sure.
For short term, for definitely, because our tax base isn't there. Even when we raised our expense tax, we did a lid lift to 150, we're not even close to that anymore.
Do you know where we're at by chance?
No, I think
that on
it's-
here?
I think it's, no,
what'd you say, Nick?
I don't think it says it exactly what the dollar
Oh,
amount.
what dollar amount we were at?
But I think we're down
Yes.
around $1.20 something.
No, it's
again.
it's in the handouts I gave you.
Is that 93 cents?
I can't find it now.
Where are you at?
It's a handout that I gave you. It's got a
Oh, this
chart.
one. No, I did
Or
not.
levy summary.
Okay, so the expense side, yeah, we're at 94 cents.
Okay.
If I read that right. No, we're at $1.28. Go far left, far right, we're at $1.28, $1.27.9.
But that includes EMS.
That, yeah, well,
So
yeah,
on the expense side, which would be under the levy lid lift, we're at 93 cents.
right, and we had, And our lid lift had actually pumped us up to, I think it was 146 is what it actually came out to,
Yeah.
if I remember right.
147.
So as your population grows, that amount drops,
Yep.
you know, and I don't,
So that means we're growing.
that's another thing that you would have to look at is community looking to lift that back up towards 150 again
Yeah.
is, you know, I mean,
Well, there's a lot of
because
things
with
to
the
look
price,
into.
even the price of fuel and everything today, it's hard to live on
Sure.
our 225 for the fire side, you know? But with everything we've been through, you know, it's hard to say what the community would like to do. And I think that's why the community needs to be part of the discussion.
Sure,
Definitely.
wholeheartedly
That's-
agree.
Yeah, I mean, and we could look at all that, because if we looked at a merger, you're gonna,
We need the pros
You-
and cons spelled out for everybody.
well, then whoever's got the highest tax levy, the taxes automatically go to that, whether that we voted or not. So like if West Mason,
On
we
the
were,
EMS side,
all of it.
because that's not what the auditor told me today.
If West Mason would take us over, right? We would go to their tax base. If
Right,
we
and
took West Mason over, they would go to our tax base.
She told me that the EMS part of it, that if West Mason's is lower than ours, then our people would pay the lower rate
If they
Yeah.
take us over.
if
Yeah.
they took us over.
Yep.
That is correct.
So,
Yeah.
It's whoever takes it over.
Yeah.
right.
But I think it's different when you go RFA.
It is.
So I'm not
RFA flat-
exactly sure.
Yeah, this was just talking.
RFA,
merger.
I think when North Mason when they became an RFA, it does not take a vote. They can just set it at $2 and it's there.
Yeah.
Cut and dry. So there is a lot to look at.
I think it would be helpful for us to maybe identify some of the main things that we want to look at, like fleet replacement, remodel, merger, and have maybe each one of us working on one of those so that when we do sit down for a full day, we've got data to look at and talk about.
Sure.
So maybe,
I've already priced out vehicles, just stock on the floor waiting to be bought, so I do have those prices.
they're expensive.
They are expensive. It's about $515 for just a standard.
Right, we would, whoever works on that topic
Fire
would need
trucks,
to
yeah.
identify how many do we absolutely have to replace and how quickly.
Yeah, because we know the tender is not NFPA.
No,
Right,
it is
no,
not.
it's
an
not
FPA.
absolutely.
It's not, doesn't meet requirements, right? So
No.
that would be something we should, is there any other vehicles that we have that don't meet the requirements?
None of them meet the requirements on the fire side as far as the Fire Rating Bureau.
Okay,
Okay, but as far as NFPA, I'd research that a little bit further. I don't think that there's actually a age requirement on the NFPA. Don't quote me on that, I'll look that up.
but there is
for you.
on the Fire Bureau?
Yeah,
an
it's
age?
not supposed to be anything older than 15 years old,
Okay,
and we're double that.
yeah,
So I will take care of getting all those numbers. And it's like on the remodel, I think that's a very short-term goal of what with the blueprint that was being passed around at the,
Yeah, but I think there's other
At the dinner.
options to talk about for
there,
that.
there are options that things that do need to have to be done. Because even the other stations, you know, they're not big enough to hold the standard truck that is being produced today. They'd have to be extended. That's why our engine 12.3, we had to remove the whole front bumper, extended bumper, just to get it to fit, and it touches the back end almost,
so I guess part of that would be determining how much room do we have to expand on each station?
That's right.
You know, and where
That-
we could go with it.
That's right, because like Station
'Cause it may
2,
just
we
not
only own
be-
the ground it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Station 2
There would
is-
have to be negotiation with the property owner around us, whether they'd let us go out another 10 feet or something, you know?
Yeah,
and the cost of doing that. You know.
Well, and also on the remodel, there's other things like the bathroom. I mean, the shower points out into the whole main bathroom. That would need to be,
That's for us tall people, so we don't step up into it. No.
well, if we get to a remodel, a
Yes.
point where we can remodel more than just a minor thing,
Right.
we need to have a committee to sit down and take a look at what options we should be looking at.
There
and-
needs to be a male-female handicap restrooms in here. be
Well,
truthful.
yeah, that's probably
To meet ADA
required.
of today.
Yes,
We
definitely.
do not meet ADA, I'm sure.
So.
I know we don't. That stall's not even big enough for ADA. So, and that is a requirement, you know.
Right.
So,
The kitchen.
you're right, there is, and that was part of that building process that we had, was that the apparatus moved out of here, and this became more of an administrative training building. And that allowed us to take storage and everything and move it.
But that also had us purchasing the rest of that 2.5 acres from the school.
Right,
Which
that's on the
was
other side
on
of the
the
road.
plan, and at the time, the school definitely agreed, we just needed to wait until our budget increased with that levy lid lift. And,
Right.
but, of course, since then, the previous board members have just squashed
Destroyed
that, ruined the reputation.
Right.
Right,
And relationship that we have with the school board, which I believe we can definitely repair with what we're building
it's already
now.
being repaired, yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and the idea of purchasing the rest of that property over there was that the trees, not allow the trees to grow, so that all airlifts are done from here. And I
And you
think
got
we're-
the cone, the big orange balls up there
Yeah.
just for that.
for that. And so that was the whole idea behind that, is to add the bays out there. Storage rooms were built in here, you know, and we had a training room. It was so that the community could use the hall.
Yeah.
You know, so you're right, there is a lot we can talk about, and just got to figure out what
So,
our priorities are.
so just kind of real briefly right now, some of the topics are the, looking at a levy lid lift, looking at a merger, looking at apparatus replacement, school land purchase, and remodel issues. Is there any others?
I think it should be merge / RFA, just to kind of
RFA.
look at both options.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not
Um,
just
I know RFA allows the two districts to do a lot more in the sense of what stays where as well.
Right.
Like, you know,
Yes,
if we
it
did
is.
get a brand new pumper tender that the community paid for, it doesn't leave this station, it stays here.
That's
So
right.
that's, part of that agreement can be made in
Right.
an RFA. And I'm sure a merger can as well, as just, with an RFA, from my understanding, it's easier.
It is.
Well, a merger would also have to require a written agreement
Sure.
from what
Yes.
the
Yeah.
assessor said too, so,
Yes, everything would.
okay.
And the biggest thing I feel is that we don't want to lose what we've gained back. If
Right.
we were to do something like that in the future,
Right.
5 years, whatever,
Absolutely.
you know, we need to stay Matlock strong. And I know we will. It's just, we need to make that known, that if
Exactly.
it ever happens, that, hey, this is that Matlock Fire Department that, you know, won. You know, they overcame a big obstacle.
Right.
Could somebody open that door over there and keep it open, please?
So,
And Bay?
can you think of any other major items that we should
You
put on
you
our
put
list?
training on here. What was
Oh. I don't really know, I just kind of threw that out there. Is there training needs that we need to address?
Not
Or
that I can
is
think-
that
I think
part-
that's-
not usually part of a 5-year plan, or? 'Cause I think we're kind
No, I
of
think that would
addressing.
be kind of like
I
the
think,
chief.
I think
That's
a
an operational
long-term
thing.
strategic
Yeah.
plan drives some of those training requirements. If there's new capabilities, new,
Yeah.
you know, requirements or regulations, that's kind of
Right.
a fallout from that, rather than, hey, if we get a new apparatus, well, we got to train people on it. you know.
Training on it.
If we have
And
new
that's- Yeah.
gear or equipment or policies or whatever. So
Okay.
that's a kind of a tail to the dog, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, like Chief said, more operational.
So these,
Unless there's training, we should, as commissioners,
Sure.
should maybe look at in the future. I know we have some coming up in October, but maybe there's other training we can.
Yeah, there'll
attend.
be annual training for you guys every year. And it's something you need to do every year because the RCWs change.
Yeah.
Even though they're not enforced, we will.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we've identified 5 major items to put on our plan and to start investigating. Is there any particular ones you guys have a desire to look into?
Whichever.
Yeah, I'm good with
Any
whatever.
of
I
them?
mean, I initially was looking into prior to, before I stepped down, I was in discussion or trying to get information on RFA from North Mason. I can continue that if you want. And
Sure.
maybe
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, so bear with me, because I got
Well,
a
maybe-
pretty busy schedule, but I could do maybe some kind of spreadsheet of what the difference, the two
Sure.
look like, and
Options.
And I'm sure,
submit that.
And I could do
information as a packet?
the merger side of it.
Yeah, that works, yes.
Okay,
and I think we could have Chief Bach, and he would gladly come talk to
Yeah.
us if we give him a far enough schedule out.
I'm
Okay.
sure there's lots of,
Sure.
He is very, very intelligent.
okay, and then, so that leaves the levy issue, what that would involve, and I've kind of already started on that, so I could work on that one. Apparatus,
I'll take.
Chief's got that one, I think.
okay,
It sounds like he's got a lot of the
Yeah.
information already.
all right, and then the school land purchase and remodel. You want to take those,
Sure.
Steve?
Look at those, you bet.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we accomplished something.
All right.
Okay.
So, do you guys have anything else you want to address?
Nope.
Okay.
I think it's a great starting point.
Yeah.
I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we adjourn the strategic planning session.
Or second that?
Second.
Sorry, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, we got
Outstanding.
about 5 minutes before the
Okay.
next
Yeah,
meeting
yeah.
starts. Thank you.
The scanner?
Let's call this meeting to order.
I love it.
It is 6:01 PM, and let's stand and have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Before we start, I want to let people know we have boxes of masks back here. I'm asking that if you have symptoms, you don't know what it is, or you might been around somebody, we want to protect our team and our crew, so we would ask your consideration in wearing one if you think you might have been exposed to something. COVID is going around again, and we need to be careful. We do not want our volunteers to be sick. So a mask can help slow the spread of it. So and there's plenty back there. Feel free to take some if you need to take some home. Okay, let's have a roll call, please. Val?
Commissioner Young,
Here.
Commissioner Ingram.
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Chief Brown.
Here.
We are all present.
Okay, thank you. Adjustments to the agenda. We have a couple of things I want to add. Under unfinished business is, we have talked in the past about the Code 4 mental health training, and that we would like to talk about scheduling that.
Unfinished?
Under unfinished,
Okay.
yes. Under new business, we would like to add scheduling a retreat to discuss the creation of a 1, 3, and 5-year plan. I would like to add also discussion about a gas stipend for our volunteers. And I also want to just add a discussion, maybe short one for Mike, to talking about the state audit. So, and then there is a correction to the agenda also under the vouchers. If you've got a copy out there, it should say vouchers number 364 to 389, and the total is $31,632.08. So, okay, so that's, approval of the minutes is next. Commissioners, you've read the minutes.
Yes.
Do you have any corrections?
I haven't seen anything, I think.
Okay, hearing no corrections.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for September 11th, 2024.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay, financial report. We have vouchers. Too many papers up here.
There's a couple I could explain for you if you'd like.
Okay.
I think a couple of them need explained.
Yes, if you want to go ahead.
So if you look at the short page here, it
Okay.
starts at the top.
Which,
Is
It
that
starts
the-
with air quality laboratories.
Okay.
Okay, so the air quality laboratories is a bill that's past due since 2019. It's a kit that's used for the compressors right there, the blue compressors that you guys see. That kit up there is from an outfit in Texas. It is not air quality, and as far as I can tell, they are out of business. That doesn't exist anymore for the kit that's up there, so I called Air Quality Laboratories, and they had been trying to get a hold of the prior administration for months. So you should have got the email about this. It was an email where they were trying to get a hold of Kelly.
Yeah.
And it's for a kit. The $400 is for a kit, like that one up there. But we do not have it. So we owe that $400, and as soon as it's paid, they will take us back on. Because we have to do air quality testing on that compressor every 3 months, because that's how we fill our SCBA bottles. So that's what that one is. If you drop down a few, Thin Line LLC, that is for the ambulance. This is a purchase prior. It's for all of the vinyl that is going to be used. We're going to wrap the back end of it. The labor will be paid in the second portion of it after it's done. I didn't want to pay labor up front.
Okay.
So this is everything for, there's some lights in there. Thin Line is a company in Elma, and they can do wraps on vehicles. He builds patrol cars. He builds like command vehicles, everything. So
and this was just for the ambulance?
this is just for aid 12-1,
And not,
and it's going to be where the back end is, after he gets rid of all the corrosion, he's going to have to totally wrap the back end of it. And then he'll put the high-vis striping on the back of it. And it will on the sides, it will also be put on there, Mason County Fire District 12 and the Star of Life on each side.
and there's no labor costs on this yet? How
Nope.
much is that going to be?
Labor's going to be a $5,000 and something maximum. He he has given us an estimate total of 10,300 and, I have it right here. And that's max. Labor could come in less. It's just approximate. But the labor would be 5,415
And
maximum.
just for public information, that cost as opposed to painting it is, can you address?
Half the price.
Half the cost
For us to
of
paint it,
repainting
it's a little over $20,000 just to paint.
Okay,
And
so this is a
so
bargain then.
he's also going to take care of all of the corrosion work on it. And there's, in this price, of the 4,000, what is it, $4,461, he's replacing the scene lights with LED lights. The way it is now, you have to start the generator on board to have scene lights. They're the old
Yeah,
style
that does-
scenes, so it's all going to be LED. There's other lights that didn't work. And he's also ordering the lights that are missing and don't work on the command truck as part of that price.
And that, you said that includes fixing lights on the ambulance that doesn't, or aid rig.
On the aid rig, that is not the labor price. This is all lights.
Yeah,
It's like a pre-order of material.
okay.
And then so the maximum, he said he would go, and he's lowered his hourly rate for us too, because we're first timers. So he's normally $85 an hour, and he's lowered it down to $75 an hour since we're first time. And he's estimating 72.2 hours is what he's going to put in by the time he's getting rid of all the corrosion. Masking it off, he's got to take like the doors off to get in some of that corrosion. So you're looking at labor at $75 an hour at 80 or 5,415. That's a future bill. But we can't let it go the way it is.
Yeah, well,
There's no way.
we need it in order to obtain an EMS
That's right.
verification.
Okay. Val, all of these were handed out there? So
No,
the
but
public has,
I can make copies.
does anybody need a copy of the vouchers? Okay. Do you want me to read that?
What was the correction amount on that batteries plus? That was 137?
137.20?
Yeah. Okay, I'll just quickly read through what they are. Air Quality Laboratories, $400 for the kit, which is what Mike just talked about. Capital Business Machines, $88.18, which is a contract it's our contract for the copier machine, the maintenance on it. Leaf is the lease of the copy machine. Oh, so two different companies.
Okay, so yes, our lease is actually done through Leaf, and we're asking that they change the date due because they have a 25-day instead of a 30, doesn't allow us to pay it on time. So this is actually for 2 months and a late fee.
Oh, okay.
So 1 month, no, at 216? Okay, 1 month and a late fee. And so we're trying to get the late fee waived
Okay.
and get the insurance part of it waived because we have our own insurance.
Okay, good. Okay, the next one is the shopper for $102.51, which is some graphic design work that we had done for 20 pads of paper,
It's
letterhead?
right,
or-
nope. There's 20 pads, there's 25 sheets per pad, and it's when we get fuel, it's in every apparatus.
Okay,
You put in how many gallons, the apparatus, the time, the mileage.
good. You mean
And then it comes to me, and then it's bounced against what the bill is.
we're actually tracking it now?
We are tracking fuel.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, thin line for $4,461.63, which is what Mike just talked about the ambulance wrap. U.S. fire equipment for $7,415.18, which is for work on T12-4 and engine 12-1.
That should be the end of what
The
we
last
have
one. Okay, good.
for US Fire.
Then there is one for Garvey Foster for $1,497.50 for legal fees for the Hood Public Records Act lawsuit. Then we have the Mason County Treasurer for $790.65, which apparently, Val, do you want to just say what that one is again?
The first check we made out, the payroll system had it made out to the IRS, and it needs to be made out to the treasurer. And so we're just
Okay.
reissuing that same check.
Okay. Then we have Batteries Plus, $411.59 for batteries for the SCBA's.
And that's where the correction is.
Black Star, is that,
That 411.59.
that's actually a different number,
That's a different
Minus the 137.
37.20.
which is,
274.39 is
Yep,
the
274.39.
voucher total. by the
okay, so
receipt.
that one should be 274.39. Okay, Black Star for department shirts, $2,860.52.
Can I add something there?
Yes.
That's more than just shirts.
Oh, okay.
That's also the lettering on the brush truck and the door insignias, and door insignias on the command truck that we're peeling off.
Okay. All right. CBE Group for $1,999.34, and that is IRS penalties from 2018 second quarter. And I would like to ask Mike that once this is paid, that we file an appeal on this. Because this is IRS penalties from way back in 2018 under the old board, and I think that is worth appealing to get it lowered. And since that's 2018, there's going to be more for each of the
Yeah.
consecutive
Yep.
years, so. If you could do that, there's
So
a
is
form that you
CBE
fill
Group,
out.
is that a
It's collection agency.
collection? Okay.
Yeah. Central Welding Supply, $156.74 for oxygen. Hung Right Doors, $771.44 to repair the bay doors. Lexipol, $3,156.64 annual fee for the fire supplemental manuals, annual fee for the, how come some of these are on here twice? On the explanations.
Because you put it in about 3 or 4 times in the program,
Okay,
so,
all right, I'll just say it once then.
yeah.
LifeAssist.com, $4,150.46 for a tourniquet, EMS supplies, and
That's it.
EMS supplies.
Yep.
Madrona Pest Control, to control those wonderful little mice that we have, $947.94, and that does cover all the stations as well as the main hall. Mike's real good at eliminating those, so. PUD number 3 for the Nahuatl station is $62.53. For the PUD station, that must be the main hall, $132.78. The PUD for Beeville station is $67.36, and the PUD for Schaefer station is $75.87.
Those
Yeah.
are way better numbers than I'm used to seeing, like 900
Yeah,
for
no
Station
kidding.
1, 3 months behind, you know.
Yeah. Municipal
Just
emergency.
for clarity, if I might,
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I had a question on that by the receipt. Val, the receipt for, the last one, what is it?
Schaefer.
Last one
For
was
7587 also includes a past due,
That one had already been paid.
already been paid? Okay, got it, all right, so that's correct.
Okay. Municipal Emergency Services, $1,515.05 for helmets, boots, and hoods. NFPA, $225 for professional dues, and I believe that's National Fire Protection Agency.
That is correct. That's our annual dues.
Staples, $157.83 for office supplies. The Shopper, $91.62 for fuel and mileage report slips. Is that the same as the other one, or is?
No, there's two different ones.
Okay,
What's the
I told you the
difference?
wrong one on the other one. The other one is your post-run.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
It's going to be same thing. It's 20 tablets with 25 sheets.
Oh, it's a form.
They're small tablets, about the size of your hand.
Okay,
So when you get done with the run, you put down the date, the mileage, what your fuel is setting at, and then it has where you can do any discrepancies
okay,
so that you
all
can
right.
do maintenance.
All right, and then the very last one is Steve Wood, $14.15 for parts. So that completes our total amount of $31,632.08.
It's already done.
Already done.
Yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the payment of vouchers?
I make a motion to approve the vouchers, 364 to 389 for the total amount of $31,632.08.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Commissioner comments. First of all, yesterday, well, first of all, why don't you guys go first? Nick, do you have any?
Okay. Well, I don't really have much, but because everything's going pretty smoothly, which is nice. Saturday, the 21st was awesome. That was a good turnout. It was nice to see. Well, I haven't seen before, so I really kudos to the association for putting that off in a short term, like 33 days. That's pretty good, and starting the association at the same time. So kudos to you guys for
Since
getting that together.
association is here, will you guys all stand up?
Please, yeah.
Yeah, yep,
That's what it takes.
yep.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm looking forward to the training this coming next month. So other than that, that's all I got.
Okay, Steve?
Sure. Hey, just a reminder, I'm still putting feelers out for some, on the CenturyLink, CenturyTel telecommunications troubles. I've had a couple of folks approach and kind of let me know what they got going on there. So like I said, I'm trying to scope and scale the complaints out there, but I can't go, again, sorry for all my Navy talk here, I can't go firing torpedoes and launching Tomahawk cruise missiles at a major corporation on one or two complaints. So I want to hear from you, and my email is on the website at mason12.org, and if you have, difficulty or challenges with actually reaching emergency services, I really want to hear from you and move forward with that. I'm willing to, draft a letter for the board to the Washington State Director of the company that serves us out here and ask for, additional, attention to the infrastructure here with our landline telephone service. But in the meantime, I also ask you, if you do have those kind of complaints, and again, I don't want to turn the board into the Billing Dispute Resolution Center. That's not what our charter is. But I want to also recommend, if you have those kind of complaints, to contact the Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission, because they're looking for those as well. So that's item one. And I might be taking some thunder from our esteemed chairwoman's comments, but did anybody have a chance to watch the Mason County Council meeting, Commissioners meeting yesterday?
I did not, no.
tune in on that? Well, our esteemed chairwoman marched in there and declared this disaster over. She gave a very compelling speech. Lots of kudos to all of those who supported us here in restoring this fire district. Many of you a lot longer than I, and even behind the scenes. But I want to thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
For your leadership during this time. The hard part's not over, but the disaster is. And thanks to her leadership, and all of your help, the forming the association, and everybody else, I would like to stand and give you a standing ovation for all your
we
work.
don't need
That's
that.
all right.
Thank you. No, I don't
Thank you.
think,
I have no
I
more
don't think I
problems.
marched in there either, Steve.
I saw you.
Okay, thank you. And yes, I was going to explain that I was at the meeting yesterday, and it was nice to be able to thank especially the county staff, which we've, a lot of people don't know the behind-the-scenes work that those people have done. And any of you that asked for a public records request, we were all treated quickly, professionally, and thoroughly with every request that we asked for. And that really helped us to get to this spot to where we could take back our fire department. So I really wanted to have a opportunity to thank them too. So, and especially our county auditor, who I think does live down here now. Thank you, Steve. Also, I want to echo what Nick said. I mean, Saturday was outstanding. I mean, our community was so happy that day, and there were so many people. I think there was at least 300 people there. There had to have been. And it was just such a great event, and you guys did a fantastic job of putting that on. And I really appreciated that we had to wait for the food because it gave all of us time to talk and visit, and it was just really a fun day. So thank you so much. You have definitely set the bar high, so thank you. Okay, and I think that's all I've got. So, Chief's report. Chief Brown.
Okay, I think we're up to 24 calls this month. And we had a fire call this morning, right off the bat. And we had it out, chilled out before any assistance even showed up. So it was
Good.
It was very cool. You can see the training is paying off already. So beyond that, we're looking at doing our training on Tuesday nights. At this time, we're doing it in district. If we need specialized training, we do have the ability to have instructors from outside to come in. But we are training to our specific needs at this point. And then I'm still working on the lease. So they're wanting past information that Trina has provided, but they're wanting me to break it down even further. So I'm in
Which lease?
for the bunker gear,
Oh, okay.
which I've got to try to get that done quickly because it takes quite a while to get the bunker gear. And the first live burn is next month. And then
You got that, I sent it to you.
yes, I got it.
Okay.
He's wanting it broke down further yet, which
Oh, you talked to me about that, and I can
Yeah.
do that.
So we're working on that because I'd like to get that approved and get fittings going and get it done so we can have
Any idea
they don't
the
have to
turnaround?
postpone the live burn. Pardon me?
What do you know what the turnaround is for the bunker gear?
4 to 8
Well,
weeks.
4 to 8 weeks?
Yeah.
We won't get there in time for the
No,
live burn?
we're not. I doubt it. Not for the first live burn, maybe the second one. I don't know.
Okay.
That's something we got to figure out. So we're working big time on that, working steadily on policies. I'm putting out 7 to 8 policies per week is what I'm trying to do, going through them and get them made for us. I've been working with Al Tupper here in the front row, because once we get this lease figured out, part of that is an extractor and dryer, and it cannot go in the kitchen. So he's come out with, I don't know if he was passing them around at the pig roast, and
I have
you have one, okay. And so if anybody needs one of these, I have some extras up here. But it's to do a little remodel here. And he's went down and he talked to Builders First Source, and they're donating all the materials.
Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're looking at probably being able to do it for around $3,000, and that's putting in a tankless water heater and all PEX plumbing and getting it all done. I mean, he's licensed, so
Is that rerouting power as well?
that would
Or
be,
do we even need to do that?
right, that's
Okay.
doing it all.
Okay.
The only thing that's not in here is a new window for the kitchen, but he thinks he's got that taken care of too. So to let you know, this is probably something we're gonna move on very shortly, mostly because we have to have someplace for that extraction dryer to go.
Yeah.
So, and it falls in budget real easy.
So this is just the little bump out and
Yes.
moving those
Yes,
electrical stuff? Okay.
moving the compressor and the water pump.
Yeah. Did that include the cost of the new water pump? Or what was it you said?
A tankless water
Tankless
heater,
water
yes,
heater.
that is.
Okay,
That's approximately the price on that. So.
okay.
That's kind of where we're at. We're plugging along. I talked to the academy officer in charge, and he is totally thrilled. He has 0 complaints on our people. They got tired of the old leader of the class, so they appointed a new one. Said the old one was getting kind of bossy, you know. So now it's Henry Atwell.
Oh, good.
So
Awesome.
Atwood, I keep saying Atwell. He's going to knock me out one of these days. So, sorry, Henry. And it's going great. So we are taking and trying to get the EMR class lined out, possibly starting in November. 7 people. We don't have prices or dates on it yet. But it is coming together. Nick is working very hard on that with Doc Hoffman and his assistant. And so we're trying to get that lined
Yeah, I
out
believe-
and going together.
They had a meeting today with Chief Fulkerson about how, like, trying to hammer out where the details. So probably within the next few days, maybe next week, we might hear a definitive time frame of where we might start the EMR class.
So we're looking
And
at
price.
5 weeks of
Price.
training,
So EMR stands for what?
emergency medical responder.
Yep.
Responder. And EMT?
Is emergency medical technician.
Yep.
Technician. And then what, the academy that they're at now is fire?
Firefighter 1 and 2, which
Okay,
They're doing 2 as well?
they're doing the works.
Okay.
okay. For those of us who don't know all these terms, so,
And then there's different levels of EMT.
right,
So
okay,
you have EMTB,
okay.
ID tech.
So wildland fire is included in the academy that they're
No, it
going?
is not.
That's a different
That's a
one.
separate academy that is put on in April.
April.
He's somewhere around late April, that's totally after everybody else who went through the,
It's after EMT, everything's done.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
we put on a wildland academy, and that is strictly wildland firefighting. And you come out of there with
And in the
red-
reverse, it's labeled firefighter 2.
In what?
In reverse, it's labeled firefighter 2 versus firefighter 1.
Right.
So it's on the wildland level, it's firefighter 2.
Right,
And then to advance, it's, yeah.
right,
Okay,
right. And so that's how they get their red cards, and allows them, if they want to deploy over the mountains, they can, you know, it's,
Oh, okay,
gives it, so.
nice.
And there is 100 steps they can go in
Yeah.
the wildland world.
Now, is it, I don't know, maybe this is something we talk about in the future, but the goal to mob out?
The what?
The goal to mob, possibly?
That
Or
is,
brush
my
truck?
goal is to, after October 1st, the DNR grants open up, and
Yeah.
I am going to apply and try to get another brush truck, which is one of their 550s, so that we can mow one truck across the mountains. And that brings income into us. Mobilize.
Oh,
Yeah.
Go out on strike teams. And Mesa County has their own strike team forces that we'd be part of. But you can also be called to fill in on other strike teams as well.
Out of state.
Out of state or just to the other side, and it's a way to bring income in,
Yep.
Okay.
so.
Yeah, the apparatuses that we deploy, plus the employees make income.
Right,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, thank you for that clarification.
yes.
All right. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think that pretty well does it.
Okay. All right, now is the time for public comment. I encourage you to try to keep it to 3 minutes. We're not gonna nail you on it, you know, unless you're going on for 25. But, is there anybody that has any questions, concerns? Kristen? And could you stand up for Diedrich's purposes, so
And I still want to talk now.
the people at home don't know who's talking, so.
We were speaking at the planning commission meeting, and they were trying to decide whether they're going to declare the emergency. I had spoken to the commission and said that the community was kind of looking for two things. One of them was for transparency and good government, which I think you guys have done an amazing job with that, so congratulations on that. The other is accountability for the crimes that were committed against us. And so I'm a little disappointed that, you know, I was under the impression that once the inventory was completed, the items were going to be turned over to the sheriff's office or a list of the missing things, and that was going to be investigated locally, and perhaps search warrants were going to be executed, and that there would be some action taken while we await the fabled FBI investigation. And to my knowledge, none of that's happened. So I don't know, perhaps there's conversations going on behind the scenes and we're just not privy to them, and that's fine. But I would like to make a request that at the next meeting, you guys report back to us about the status of both investigations. If there even is a local investigation, if there's not, why not? Because I think, you know, the FBI has a scope of things that they're looking at over the last how many years, and I realize those investigations take a couple of years to complete because they want to be successful when they go to trial. But there should still be a parallel investigation locally for the computers, for the stuff out of the safe, for the radios and equipment that didn't get returned. That's not inconsequential to us. And part of that, you know, that I said, I'm not sure if Sterling's here today, but part of what I had said to him is that our expectations are you will investigate, it will get prosecuted, and restitution will be made. So all of these expenses you're talking about, past and present, things that we're catching up on, we shouldn't be paying for those again. The people that stole from us, the people that didn't do the jobs that we paid them to do and they took money from us to not do them, they should be paying for those things. And so we need to be made whole. And I hope that all, you know, I realize you have a lot of things on your plate, but we can't lose sight of that. That needs to happen. That's part of why I started the stuff that I started. And I think you guys knowing me now know I'm not going to drop this. So I would like, please, at the next meeting, to have a report about the status of both of those investigations if you can.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I can say that.
First of all, I believe that on the local level, it's kind of hard to know exactly which part of it they're handling. A lot of it they have handed over to the FBI. The FBI is waiting at this point. for authorization from the, what's her title? The
Assistant attorney,
Assistant State.
District Attorney.
District
yeah, assistant district attorney.
Federal Attorney, the Federal Attorney. And to get a, I'm losing my head, to get a search warrant to be able to access the additional computers that we found buried under the insulation in the attic. So they are adding that, and we don't know if there's any information on those or not, and they're trying to get a search warrant. I think that's the right thing that they were looking for, in order to access those, because I don't think that we can just give it to them. They've got to do it through the proper procedure.
Well, it seems like we're getting bogged down in bureaucratic. Yes.
We are.
We are.
I'll just share with you that the mother of the dummy husband told one of her colleagues, well, they did nothing wrong, because if they did, they would have been arrested by now.
Right.
Why aren't they arrested? And I'm like, that's a really good question. Why haven't they been arrested? So I'm just saying, there's things you can do as a commission to put pressure on the U.S. Attorney's Office to prioritize this. There's things you can do with our local electeds to put pressure on them to prioritize it, because I think it's easy to say we're just pushing it to the FBI, but whose responsibility is it? If you're filing police reports with the Mason County Sheriff's Office, it's the Mason County Sheriff's Office responsibility to investigate the crime.
I agree, and I think we have been let down by the sheriff's office.
So it would be nice.
Last I heard was that
They were turning their final report into the FBI. So it didn't, I took that as they're not doing a thing, which I think is totally unacceptable. Just like you're saying, there's stuff here that I could use, I need. There's a 5,000-gallon floating tank out there. There's 4 SCBA masks missing, and we keep finding more and more. And I think for them turning this all over to the FBI is unsatisfactory.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to get some updates, because I too haven't, I don't know what you guys have heard, but I just haven't heard anything.
No,
Maybe we
it's
just
been dead silent
inquire
here for a
about it.
month. Yeah.
Because definitely
we
it's
will-
something that needs to happen.
We will definitely take a look at that again and have a report at the next meeting. So thanks for bringing it up again, Kristen.
Along with that, Trina, what did I just say to you just yesterday
Which time?
to tell Matt? FBI Matt.
Oh.
What did I tell you?
Definitely that, I forgot already. Tell
That
him,
David was going to organize another letter campaign.
That's right.
To Tess.
letter campaign.
Did
Yes.
you get that on the microphone? Thank you. I know
Right.
you're watching, Matt.
And that
so-
did have a big impact the last time we did it, so that is definitely an avenue that we can announce to the public, possibly on our Facebook page or something, so we can look at doing that too, so. Okay. Anything else? Any other public comments? Shirley?
18?
So when I resigned, it was, the next month would have been time to turn in that report that we are paying late fees. And took the person they hired and Kelly Wellsworth, that was chief at the time, and said I would personally come over here and train. And she denied my help several times, and also lied to former Commissioner John Pace that I would not tell that I was in. So just more lies and
Yeah.
proof. Thank you.
It's pretty obvious that once they took over, they really didn't do a thing. They didn't file any reports, follow through with the audits. I mean, that's why we're having
They united a community.
$45,000 in fines. But yes, Mike is exactly right, and I said this at the county meeting yesterday, that they don't understand that they gave us a gift, and that is all of you sitting in this room tonight and everybody watching, everybody that showed up at that picnic on Saturday. I mean, it really backfired on them if they thought they were going to destroy our community. They only destroyed the things in our fire department. They did not destroy our community, and we still have that, and it is bigger and better and more functional than ever before. So they can't hurt us. Okay. All right. Yes.
I see we are using the county's fuel station and adding extra wear and tear on our vehicles, extra time out of people's days, and so is the school. Is that something that we could look into, a fuel cube or fuel tank that we could both use and get filled up?
That's a really good idea.
Because, I mean, we're having to pay the bus drivers to drive extra hours, extra wear and tear on our buses that we're paying for, our apparatuses here, and I think it would be beneficial for all of us as a community and both entities to look into that.
They have property on
Good idea.
Doesn't the county have property right, like kitty corner from
At
the
Matlock?
store?
Yes.
So you can get, okay, well, hey,
But, so we might have to put it, because they can't put it on the school grounds, so it might have to go over here, but I don't know, that's something I'll look into. So,
It would have to be
They're locked up. Can't.
but hey, it's definitely a benefit for us way up
It
here.
would.
but it's, I mean, all the wear and tear and man hours and.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good idea.
Thank you.
We'll look into that. Any other comments? David?
I just want to say, doesn't Mike look good in his uniform up there?
Thanks. Thanks, Dave. God.
Okay, any other comments? All right, let's move along then.
Yes, let's do.
Unfinished business. We have on the agenda to talk about, finish talking about changing the day of the week of the meeting. Commissioner Jones
Thanks,
has
Kristen.
a major conflict. Thank you, Kristen.
Well, I think I'd like to, I'm going to make a motion that we change our meeting dates to the second and fourth Mondays of the month.
I second that motion.
All right, any discussion? I just want to say we discussed the options in our strategic planning meeting before this meeting, so, and we did not make any decisions then, but we are now. So, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Our meetings are now going to be on Mondays, on the second and fourth Mondays of every week. So I think,
Every month.
Yeah.
of every month, sorry.
Yeah.
I like that a lot because also it enables us to post the agenda on Fridays. So the public will get it a whole weekend ahead of the meeting, so that's nice too.
We'll
So-
work for Val and
I
Chief.
think
Yeah.
just for the folks out there, I think the only real thing we discussed in the planning session ahead of this was that we have to do some coordination, and we may not have, Dietrich available all the time for the
thank you.
Mason Web TV. So he's offering some suggestions to Zoom and do some other things, so we'll figure that out. But it's our desire to maintain as much connectivity with everybody out there in the community as we can make.
Right. You'll probably be able to watch it, just like you did on Mason Web TV, after the meeting but it might be Facebook or YouTube instead. So we will make sure and get that information out to folks, how they can watch it before the next meeting. And we're going to have to assign one of you guys to be the technical expert.
I nominate Chairman Dave.
There you go.
Okay. Another item on the unfinished list is, a couple meetings ago, I talked about this company called Code 4, and they provide mental health referrals and other help online for volunteers, and they offer a special training on how the program works, and I would like to schedule that in early January, so because of all the training load that our volunteers have at Academy. So this puts it out a little bit, but in the meantime, we will post the phone number that you can call on our Facebook page, and there's no charge. You can call and they will talk to you. They will give you a referral to a local provider that they have pre-screened to make sure that you're getting good qualified people. And any kind of mental health issue that you might have, or maybe you have a call that's difficult and you need to talk it over, it just gives you an extra avenue. We also have the Pastor Ken Ford down the road at the church. He's also available. And we also have a chaplaincy program that's available to us through the county fire association, I believe, the Commissioners Fire Chiefs Association. And we'll get that number as well, so that everybody has some access, because that's important.
I think I could use that training.
Yeah.
I said yes to this.
Good. Okay. Does the board have any other unfinished business? Okay. Under new business, one of the items that we talked about in our strategic planning meeting was scheduling a date for a retreat for the commissioners to discuss, to start creating our five-year, or actually our 1, 2, 3, and 5-year plan. And we've already identified some major items that need to be talked about. And where did I write that down at? Including, just so you know, some of the things that are on our mind right now. We're talking about the future in regards to how our levy would apply, in regards to how a merger or an RFA might work. We also want to talk about remodeling options for the hall. We want to talk about how we update our apparatus, and we are going to talk about the potential of bringing back up the topic of purchasing the school land next door. So those are just some of the items, and that's a lot to start with. It's going to take us a long time to wade through all of those things. And each of the commissioners are working on different ones of those topics. So if you guys have any comments or input you want to provide, let us know. We'd love to hear what you have. Our plan is, once we develop the plan, then we will publish it for the community to take a look at, and we'll talk more about that. So,
and that will be discussed over maybe 1 or 2 meetings and approved by the board as our future long-term and short-term goals.
But we figure it's going to take us at least 8 hours to wade through all this, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we plan this for after the first of the year.
Okay.
I'm not sure what days work for you? I don't know if we should probably do it on a weekend. I know Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are usually open up for me.
That works for me
Yeah,
too.
works for me as
Okay,
well.
and I think, I don't know if we're going to develop these things and then maybe we can narrow it down to a date specifically. But I've, with all the stuff coming
Yeah.
up, training,
A lot
budget,
of things.
for November's, we got to deal with the budget.
Yeah, budget's gonna
And
be a big
Christmas,
deal.
you know, stuff like that. I think we should wait until after the year, first of the year.
Okay. Okay,
Is that a motion?
is that a motion?
Yeah, I made a motion.
To,
Wait until after the first of the year to
Okay.
have this, to schedule a retreat.
okay. Do we
I
need,
second.
I don't even think we need a motion.
I don't
do
think we need
Yeah.
a motion for that.
No.
Yeah.
We'll just make sure we continue that
Yeah,
on
put
our.
on the-
on
So I
the-
retract that motion,
Old
and I
business,
think we
old
just,
business, I guess.
Yeah,
we'll revisit it at the, I think, I say revisit it at
table
the.
till January
Yeah, yep, works for me.
or December, whatever. Okay. All right. The next item I want to talk about is a gas stipend for our volunteers. You guys have been responding to calls at your own personal expense, and we need to correct that. So we discussed that earlier tonight also. And I would like to make a motion. Can I make the motion?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I would like to move that, David, I would like to move that we pay our volunteers a $10 per call stipend, beginning immediately,
For call and training, please.
per,
Call and training.
for calls and training. So every time you go, you're going to get, I guess it's a point system, and quarterly we would be paying you your check for the quarter for your stipend. So, so that's my motion.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
All right, is there any discussion?
That will exclude me,
Yes.
since I'm a volunteer, because that
Right.
would be compensation.
Right,
So-
that excludes all of this.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I get great gas mileage.
okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay,
Can I,
yes.
does that start as of this minute, right? It's not any back pay,
What do you recommend?
that we started from this meeting forward.
This meeting forward.
It hasn't been really built.
I will, do we need to clarify that motion or amend it?
Nope.
Okay.
That's just for my
Your
clarification.
motion was as of today.
As of
Yep.
today, okay. The next item, Commissioner Jones has an item on the agenda regarding commissioner pay.
Yeah, I just want to be added to the list. I believe we have a resolution for commissioners to receive pay for one meeting a month, no matter how many meetings or trainings we go to, and I would like to add myself to that resolution.
Okay,
And I don't know if we need to get a new resolution drawn
Yes.
up first. Okay.
yes, we do.
Then
And
you
I want
vote.
that as of my appointment, being appointed.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll have that for the next meeting.
I
Okay.
second it.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
make a motion. I
Oh.
just,
I think the motion would come.
when we
Chair,
do the
once
When we
resolution.
have the
resolution
resolution.
I think,
Okay.
I think we need to update that for everybody, I think, too, so.
Every
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
somebody comes on board.
Okay, so we will have that at the next meeting as a resolution. The other new business, I could have asked you privately, and I just didn't think of it until late this afternoon. On the state audit, now that we have our budget in order, are we able to start, to commence that process?
That's a conversation that I want to start with the state auditor to let them know.
Okay,
But I do know, part of that state audit, we still have to input last year.
oh, okay,
Because
so we're not.
one of the things that they require is an annual report.
Okay.
So that goes from, Shirley, is it like April 31st to May 1st? It covers the month of May, right? So, yeah. So we
So
at least have
that's-
to build
we
it
have to
back
do
to
that
May
first.
of this next year, of last year, excuse me, to even try to come up with, so to be truthful, we probably have to input the whole year. And that took a few weeks, just input a couple of months. So I will have that conversation with them there. The last conversation I was told by them that they are our lowest priority.
Okay,
So
well, then we
they
don't
are
need to
really
worry about
working
it
with
just
us.
yet.
The L&I audit is almost out of our way. We should be getting the final, I know that this isn't part of your thing, but
No, that's okay.
Can I interrupt just for a second? I didn't make it here last night, I had to perform emergency surgery, but I got this in
I think this is the same as one I got from you. We did complaints against them. And so by doing that, you have a result of it. I got one too. And so, but the official one we're waiting on has to come to the fire district. Because our dates, so that is still my priority over the state audit, but you're right, we do need to start the state audit back up, because we're gonna need closure on it too.
Okay,
So I will look into that and have answers. I can have answers to you next week, but definitely next meeting.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Is it by chance the FBI or anyone waiting for results of the state audit to proceed?
Don't
Do we
have a
know?
clue there.
Okay.
Neither the sheriff's office or the FBI has communicated with us. If the communication comes, it's more us reaching out to them. So it's been very, I think, one way, and I think it needs to be a two-way conversation that we never are a part
Yeah.
of.
Maybe we could schedule a meeting with them.
Yeah, or schedule a meeting with the sheriff.
Yeah. Yeah, because I really thought the sheriff would be here. He said he was going to try to attend our meetings,
Yeah.
since he no longer has his coffee with the sheriff. And,
Okay.
We got it. Just let you know, Sheriff Sterling is in training in Eastern Washington today. So that's why he's not here tonight. Okay.
so I do think that's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that'll be on our list for next week to tackle. Okay. Any other new business, gentlemen?
Nope.
All right, is there any good of the order?
I have nothing.
From the public, any good of the order?
Just thank you, everybody, for such a good job.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, David. I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, I was waiting.
I just want to give a little report on I think everybody that's here was at the big barbecue on Saturday. It was a wonderful time. It was magical as far as I'm concerned. There was at least 250, probably could easily have been 300 people there. And it was just great to see the community just visiting and laughing and having a good time, going inside dancing, coming outside. It was just a good feel of the community, and that's what we were looking for. And I'd like to, at this time, thank also again Lloyd Hamilton of U.S. Fire for sponsoring the band, and Mike Werner, the store manager of East County Thriftway, for donating the corn, Val and Larry Chappell and Logan McGee for donating the pig, and that pig was damn good eating.
It was huge.
Also like to thank Tiny Valley from Spikes Hydraulics for sponsoring the chickens. And I'd also like to thank Steve Dunkel, our auditor, for coming out and shredding big meat.
There you go.
So when we got done, the board planned on taking all the leftover chickens and pork and putting on a dinner. And so on October 11th, we're going to put a dinner on for the volunteers of Mason County Fire District 12 and West Mason. It'll be here at the station, and it's just for the volunteers, and the board will be serving the leftovers from the barbecue for the volunteers.
Nice. Very good.
That's all I have this time.
All right, thank you, Dave.
It was nice to know how many hours Gary drove without sleeping.
Yeah. And water.
41.
I'd like to add to that Dave looks really good in his uniform.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I just want to point out that our first board meeting was August 19th, and in 33 days, we pulled that barbecue together, and it really was hit out of the park.
Fantastic.
But we did that in 33 days. At the same time, we were getting our 501c3 and doing all the meetings that we needed to do to get our nonprofit bank account set up. I just want to thank my team. I picked a hell of a lot of good people for the team. Thank you.
Yep.
It's definitely a community asset to have a fire association like you guys supporting us along the way, so thank you. All right. Our next meeting is now Monday, October 14th. So we will be
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m., yes. So
And,
thank
strategic planning meeting, is that, because we now need to change that date. You had set out, it was going to be the 25th of October. Now, should we schedule that for the 28th, which would be the fourth
Yes,
Monday?
the 28th at 5 p.m.
Okay.
So October 28th, Monday, at 5 p.m. will be our next strategic meeting, planning meeting, and at 6 p.m. the second October meeting. So we'll get that posted, and so everybody has the right dates.
Might have to strategically buy a birthday cake that week.
Okay, do I have?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys.